Hey there, this is iRun here, and we are back on Ice Plane Spike or Bust. I know it's been a while, but I'm not really here to tell you that I'm on Ice Plane Spike or Bust. I'm actually here to share some sad news. Yesterday, we lost a family friend, a family pet of 5 years, and her name was Jewel, and she was very, very sick. I also want to share with you that I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be putting out any more videos this week. And I apologize for that. I do have footage, but I'm not really in the mood to edit any videos. Let me find a place out here maybe that I can make land hoe and turn this back into daylight. I actually just recorded about 10 minutes worth of video and forgot to press the record button. So let me just tell you a little bit about Jewel, if you don't mind sharing. Jewel was a rescued animal that a friend of mine who does animal rescue found a little over 5 years ago, probably 6 years. I think it stayed with them in their care for about 6 years. Here's one of the original pictures of her when they first received her. She was abandoned. They found her on the side of the road. She was apparently abused. As you can see in this picture, there's not a whole lot of hair even on her backside. Needless to say, she's been a challenge a little bit since we've gotten her. But she was a beautiful, beautiful little girl. This is a couple pictures of her when I first received her, or we first received her into the family in October of 2010. I am going to land over here. We may continue by boat, but let me come over here and at least turn this in today. But yesterday was a real rough day for us. She had a very bad weekend, and we knew, well, first off, she's been sick for a while, and we have been taking her to the vet. Seems like every couple of weeks. We originally had her tested for cancer, and all the tests have come back negative. So they kept on saying though that her blood cell counts were down, but she just had an infection and she needed antibiotics. But she was on antibiotics after antibiotics after antibiotics, then on steroids. And this has actually been going on for probably close to 6 months or more. 6 months since she's been on medications, longer since we actually knew that she was kind of sick and ill. And so we, after a very bad weekend, which we didn't even know that she was going to make it through the weekend, she was actually staggering and stumbling to get up. Looks like we're in land area, so I'm just going to bust this into the ground here, pick up what I can, and we will move on. And to be honest with you, I don't even know why I'm playing the game, except this is how I normally connect with you, because I'm not even feeling this today. But you know, I used to think animals were just kind of a dime a dozen, and you could just go get another animal because, I mean, hey, they're cheap, they're at the pound. I don't know if something happened to me when I was younger and I just had an animal and then just kept not wanting to emotionally connect to them, or if I just never did emotionally connect to other animals. But I can say she honestly changed my life. Wow, you know, if I was in adventure mode, if I was not in adventure mode, but if I was actually doing a lot of adventures, this would be a good spot to actually come back, because you'd be so close to land and have that monument nearby. But anyway, you know, if you come home and you're having a bad day, she'd always be there to welcome you and greet you. And you know, regardless of what mood you were in, she was always there for you. So, she taught me a lot about compassion, or being compassionate. I don't even know how to make a boat right now. There we go. Not that I'm the most compassionate person, but I can tell you this: I was a lot less compassionate until I've lost a lot of people in my life. Each time I've lost someone that was dear to me, it has changed me. Here's a picture of her at our first Christmas together. You can see her sitting underneath the tree next to one of the Christmas packages. She was always very cute and, and loving like that. Crazy little girl. But when we brought her in yesterday, like I said, we actually were expecting the worst. We were expecting it to be her last day. So from that standpoint, yesterday was not a shock for us. But what we didn't know what was going on, and after months they found that she had had this lump and mass growing in her abdomen intestinal area. And originally they thought it was in the spleen area, and the doctor said, I've done a lot of splenectomies, or however you pronounce it, and he seemed to think that he could do something about it. When they first came in, they actually found that it wasn't in the spleen area, that it was actually in the stomach and intestinal area, but he didn't think it was attached to anything, and he thought he could get it fairly easily. Well, when he was in there, they did exploratory surgery to find out what was going on, and they called us about 15 minutes in and said, good news, it is a mass, but it's not attached to anything, and we can remove it. And we're like, wow, really? This is kind of the best news you could hope for. And then it wasn't 15 minutes later that they called back and they said that it's actually wrapped around one of the major arteries as well as the intestine. We could try it, but the probability of her having any success would be very minimal, because we can't just cut around an artery, and it's also the main artery that I guess provides blood to the intestine, and without that the intestine would just die anyway. So what they said was, and also these vets work in animal rescue all the time, so if they can save an animal, they will save the animal. And that's what we asked them to do. We said if there is any opportunity for her to live and have a happy life, not be in pain all the time, that because we've watched her be in pain for almost a year. We just didn't know what was going on, even though we had taken her to the vet several times, had blood tests. Nothing came back as it was cancer. So so yeah, anyway, he finally came back and said, look, we just don't think that this is going to be in her best interest, that she'd come out, she wouldn't make it, and bringing her out, she would be in a lot of pain. So here are some pictures of us with her on the last day. From this picture here, you wouldn't even know that she was sick. I mean, it was actually kind of one of those cute pictures, and this is when we were kind of hopeful. She had spent the night in the animal hospital because when we brought her in on Monday, she was very pale, and they had to do some immediate blood transfusions. They did another one again yesterday before surgery, because they knew that she would lose a lot of blood during surgery. This is her sitting on mommy's lap with her companion bear. So, you know, one of our major concerns right now is how Bear is going to take everything. He did walk through the process with us. This is her bed last night, obviously empty, and with her leash and everything. Not quite sure what we're going to do with it yet. You can see Bear laying beside it. Normally he would not even he would not ever get in her bed, but shortly after that other picture, you can see he actually got into her bed last night, laid on her leash. Bear was only like, she was with us for 6 months when we got Bear, and Bear was a very young puppy, so we're not even sure. We know it has to be hard on him as well. This was not my intention to make this a long video. I just wanted to share with you all where we were at. I mean, yesterday we were coming home and driving, and I guess we weren't driving fast enough for some people. They were getting upset. But please try to remember, I mean, and I've been guilty of it as well. Sometimes when you're driving along, you just never know what someone else is going through. Even if you're having a bad day, they could be having an even worse day. Alright, so I'm going to end it here. Sorry that it's short and kind of sad. Thanks for watching. Thanks for caring. And until next time, this is iRun, and we'll see you.